The wallet was mine. Same cracked leather, same coffee stain on the billfold, and when I flipped it open, there it was. My driver's license, my face, my address, expiration date 12 years from now. Except I was holding it in my hand, and the man who dropped it had just walked back out to his car. A black sedan, same dent on the rear quarter panel, same plate. The fourth one tonight. Let me start from the beginning. My name is Marcus. I'm 34. And 6 weeks ago, I took a night shift job at a Phillips 66 off Route 14, 40 miles outside Cedar Rapids. 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. $15 an hour, cash, under the table. The owner was a quiet guy named Dale. He hired me in the parking lot after a 10-minute conversation. Didn't ask for ID, didn't ask for references, just handed me a key and said, "Don't touch the back room." I should have walked away. But I'd been out of work for 4 months. My daughter's tuition was past due. My wife had stopped asking when I'd find something. $600 a week I could hand her on Saturday morning and pretend things were fine. So I took it. The station sits alone on a stretch of county road. 2 pumps, a cooler of sodas, a rack of beef jerky, a coffee machine that hadn't been cleaned since Obama's first term, and a security camera above the register that I was told very specifically never to unplug. "It's always recording," Dale said, "even when it looks like it isn't." The first week, I had 3 customers. After that, nothing. 46 nights of nothing. And then, night 47. 11:47 p.m. I was behind the counter reading a paperback when headlights swept across the windows. Black sedan. Pulled in slow, pump 2. The driver stepped out. Mid-40s, thin, dark jacket zipped to the throat. Didn't pump any gas, walked straight inside. He moved through the aisles slow, deliberate, like he was looking for something specific. Then he came to the counter with a single item. A pack of peppermint gum. $2.19, he paid in cash, exact change. As he handed me the bills, he looked up at the camera behind my head, then at me, and said, "Have you been sleeping well?" I laughed. I think I laughed. I said something like, "Night shift, you know how it is." He nodded. He said, "Okay, Marcus." And then he walked out, got in his black sedan, and drove east on Route 14. I didn't remember telling him my name. 1:23 a.m. Same black sedan, same dented plate. Pump 2. But the driver was different. Bigger, broader through the shoulders. 6'2" instead of the first guy's 5'9". Same jacket, same gait. He walked the aisles the same slow, deliberate way, and he brought a bottle of water to the counter. $1.49. Cash. Exact change. He looked at me. His eyes were lighter, hazel instead of brown, and he said, "Do you remember your daughter's name?" I opened my mouth. I was going to say Emma. Of course, she's 7. Her name is Emma. But for a full second, I couldn't remember it. It came back. Emma. Emma Marie. Born July 2018. But that half-breath of blankness where my own daughter's name was just gone. That scared me more than anything he'd said. He took his receipt. He drove east on Route 14. The gum wrapper from the first man was still on the counter. I hadn't thrown it away. 2:58 a.m. I was watching the road by then, just watching the 2-lane blacktop, waiting. The headlights came from the west. Black sedan, dented plate, pump 2.
The driver got out. Shorter. Older. Maybe 60. Gray at the temples. Different man entirely. Same jacket. Same walk. He went to the coffee machine. Black. No sugar. The way I drink it. He carried it to the counter. $1.79. Exact change. And when I looked at his hand as he passed me the bills, I saw something that made my stomach drop. He had a scar on the webbing between his thumb and index finger, a small crescent, from when he was 9 years old and fell off a bike into a chain-link fence. I know, because I have the same scar, in the same place, from the same fall. I couldn't speak. He stared at me for a long time, and then he said very softly, "You have to remember, Marcus, before it gets to 4. He walked out. He drove east on Route 14. And I finally turned around and looked at the security monitor behind me. The screen was black. I wasn't supposed to touch the back room. I went in anyway. A folding chair, a cheap desk, an old tower computer running the security system. I opened the playback software, and I scrolled back through the night. 11:47 p.m. The first man. The gun. 1:23 a.m. The second man. The water. 2:58 a.m. The third man. The scar. 3 visits. 3 different men. 1 car. And then I looked at the timestamp in the corner of the screen because something felt wrong and I couldn't place what. And I froze. Every visit. Every single one. The timestamp on the camera read 11:47 p.m. I scrolled back. Night 46. Night 45. Night 44. Every night I'd worked, the camera had recorded exactly 1 hour. 11 p.m. to 11:59. Then 8 hours of black. Then it picked up again at 7 a.m. when I clocked out. I hadn't worked 46 nights. I'd worked the same hour 46 times. 4:12 a.m. I was still in the back room when I heard the bell over the front door. I didn't want to go out there. I sat in that folding chair for 30 seconds with my hands shaking, trying to decide if I could just stay in the closet until sunrise. But I knew he'd wait. Whoever it was this time, he would wait as long as it took. So I walked out. The black sedan was at pump 2. And the man standing at my counter was me.
Same height, same build, same dark jacket I didn't remember owning, but recognized the way you recognize your own handwriting. He had my face, my hairline, the small mole under my left eye that my wife always jokes about. He set a wallet on the counter, cracked leather, coffee stain on the billfold. I opened it. My driver's license, my face on the photo, my address on Jefferson Street, the license number I'd had since I was 16 years old. But the expiration date was 12 years from now. I looked up at him. He was crying. Not sobbing, just 2 steady tears running down a face I'd seen in the mirror 10,000 times. And he said, "I've been trying to wake you up for 47 nights." He told me what he'd figured out. there was a car accident. March 14th. I was driving home from a job interview in Cedar Rapids, the real job, the one that was going to fix everything, and a semi-truck drifted across the center line on Route 14. I had maybe a second and a half to react. I wasn't working the night shift. I was in a hospital bed in Iowa City, in a coma that the doctors were quietly telling my wife might not end. And somewhere, in whatever was left of me, my mind had built a gas station. A quiet one, on a road I used to drive, with a job that paid just enough to keep my family safe. And I've been sitting behind that counter for 47 subjective nights, waiting. The first 3 were earlier tries, he said. The gum guy, the water guy, the coffee guy. Versions of me, hoping one would be loud enough to wake you up. You didn't listen. He slid the wallet closer. This is the last one. If you don't take it, the dream closes. Dale comes back. You stay here forever. I asked him what was in the wallet. He said, the way out. I opened the billfold. There was no money inside, just a folded piece of paper. A hospital visitation form. My signature. My daughter's handwriting under it. 7-year-old handwriting, the kind where the letters slant 3 different directions. And the words, "Daddy, please come back. We miss you. Love, Emma." I looked up. The man who was me was gone. The car was gone. The parking lot was empty. And for the first time in 47 nights, I heard something other than the hum of the coolers. A heart monitor, somewhere very far away, beeping. I walked to the front door of the gas station. I put my hand on the glass. The road outside didn't go east or west anymore. It just went white. I closed my eyes. I pushed the door open. I woke up in Iowa City on March 31st, 17 days in a coma. My wife was in the chair beside me. My daughter was asleep across her lap, still holding a folded piece of paper. I asked her what the paper said. She opened her eyes. She smiled the way only a 7-year-old can smile at someone who came back from somewhere they weren't supposed to come back from. And she said, "I already gave it to you, Daddy. Remember? I'm Marcus. I worked the night shift at a gas station on Route 14 for 47 nights. And every once in a while, when the house is quiet and everyone's asleep, I'll catch myself standing at the front window at 11:47 p.m. watching for headlights. Because I don't know for sure that I actually left. Stay on the edge.